Hey everyone, this is gonna be really funny. I'm gonna predict what Jay's gonna say. They're gonna say, they're gonna say that they're pleased with the outcome, but they're really not happy with how the Bruins played. On the one hand, I'm happy with how with the outcome, but I'm also really unhappy with how the Bruins played today. No, they're gonna make a joke about how Marchand had 3 points on the night. I mean, Marchand did have 3 points on the night, so that was pretty funny. No one can hear you, right? Shit. Bruins win 3-2 in overtime against the Montreal Canadiens, and in what was quite possibly one of the worst wins the Bruins have had all season. Welcome back to Into the Den, everybody. I'm your host, Jay Freeman. This you ever have one of those days where you ever just have one of those things where you won, but it doesn't feel like you won? Yeah, this was that game. Start off with just let's start off with my sweet mates laughing their asses off. I'm sorry about that, but let's start off with the fact that Bergeron is once again out of the lineup. So the Bruins call up Jack Studnicka, and so he's playing on the top line with Brad Marchand and a very newly extended Jake DeBrusk. I get if you didn't catch today's video about the trade deadline, Jake DeBrusk recently got a 2-year, $4 million 2-year extension and worth $8 million. I still don't know if the Bruins plan on trading him in the offseason, but this was also the first game for the Bruins after the trade deadline, and so I kind of expected to see Hampus Lindholm on in the lineup. He was nowhere to be found. Hampus Lindholm was not on the Bruins line. Was not in the Bruins lineup for tonight, unfortunately. But Bruins, you ever see a team get a really obvious advantage, and it's an advantage that the other team heavily struggles against and do absolutely nothing with it? Yeah, that was the Bruins on the power play this entire game. I swear, they had like 4 power plays and could not capitalize on any of them. Like this was, if this wasn't the worst win the Bruins have had all season, this was definitely the worst power play. This is definitely the worst power play stretch they've had in a win. And when Montreal's on the power play, you don't really expect them to do much because they have the 3rd worst power play in the entire freaking league. So it makes sense that they would. It makes sense that they would not really do much on the power play. And the Bruins penalty kill starts out fantastic. They kill a penalty, and it immediately sets them up for a really strong zone entry. For I think it was Taylor Hall and Brad. It was either Taylor Hall or Jake DeBrusk and Marchand, and Marchand just completely falls past the net but still manages to get up and get a rebound from someone to just shove it past Jake Allen, and that's the one thing that happened in the first period. And really nothing else happened. And as I was perusing Twitter, there were talks about the Bruins potentially trying to bring up Fabian Lysell after the end of the WHL season, and to try and bring him in for a few games in the NHL before the playoffs. Honestly, it's an okay idea. I wouldn't mind slotting Lysell in at some point, but the problem is also, and people are like, oh, he's oh, he's freaking tiny. He's gonna get crushed. The dude is just 1 inch shorter than Matt Grzelcyk, and he's about the same weight. But Lysell, honestly, I'd give him like at least a dozen games in Providence before you put him up with the Bruins. And I mean, that's essentially what we did with Pasternak, and look how well that turned out for us. Sure, Pasta's kind of on a dry spell right now. Don't really need to go into that, but if we have, but if we're gonna put Lysell in, we got to do it. We got to be smart about it. So we go into the second period. Sorry. And I think the Bruins are playing really well against the Habs, and then a delayed penalty just allows them to go 6-on-5. Sorry about that. But a delayed penalty just allows the Habs to go to a 6-on-5, and David Savard just swoops down past the defense and shoots it past Swayman and to tie the game at 1. And honestly, part of me kind of wants to give Swayman shit for this, but at the same time, the defense could have made him just work a little bit harder for it. You're allowed to hit people while they have the puck. It's not like against the freaking rules. You can hit people. But anyway, the Bruins are up. The net for some reason the Bruins just have really bad luck with the net, because this is at least the third time this season where something wrong just happens with the net and it stops play for a good 5 minutes. But it doesn't matter what stops the net, as long as Swayman is stopping things from getting into the net, which he is doing fantastically. The dude is making insane, great saves all around. And freaking Romanov ends up getting a tripping penalty with like 40 seconds left in the period. And don't, although Swayman is playing great this game, don't sleep on Jake Allen, because right at the end of the period, he gets an insane leaping backwards to make the glove save on Marchand just before the end of the period, and then we get to the third period. Great, the Bruins play way too far up on this power play, and a bad pass from Marchand to Taylor Hall results on Joel Armia just breaking through for a 2-on-0 and taking it top shelf, shorthanded, by the way. There were like 6 seconds left on Romanov's power play. This was shorthanded for the Habs, and they still end up getting not just a goal, a shorthanded goal, but a 2-on-0 breakaway. The Bruins play like the first 15 minutes of the period with no urgency. There's no cohesion. The power play again is completely invisible. We get to the final 5, and what the hell? Connor Clifton actually did something. The Bruins end up taking the puck away in the neutral zone, and Craig Smith manages to draw all of the attention, and Clifton's just wide open at the far post, and Smith just gets it to him, and Allen can't get back to the middle fast enough, and that ties the game at 2. Then in like the last minute and a half, Charlie McAvoy and Jake Evans have like a nice hug, have a nice little hug session. That's cute. You both get 2 minutes for roughing, but still, that's freaking and adorable how you both hugging each other at the end. And but that takes us into overtime. Neither team can really capitalize on the 4-on-4. And then just I am so happy that Brad Marchand is a Bruin. There are so many people that hate Brad Marchand, but he's one of those players that's like you hate to play against him, but if he was on your team, you would just mwah. Eric Holla of all people ends up getting the offensive zone on entry well enough to pass it back to Marchand while the other defensemen are while the other Habs defensemen are busy with Holla and Grizzly, and Marchand just completely undresses Jake Allen in getting revenge for the rob goal at the end of the second period. He freaking dangles him out of the crease and just sneaks it right past him. But that ends up putting the Bruins with the win. And I like the fact that we won. It didn't need to be this hard. It did not need to be this hard. And I feel like the Bruins know that. I feel like the Bruins know that, like, yeah, we could have done a lot better. And this isn't anything against the Habs, especially because Martin St. Louis has been is a freaking great coach. He's been great for the Habs ever since they hired him. But against a team like against a team who's like near last place in the entire NHL, it shouldn't be this hard to win. And I am hoping that we soon get a look at what Lindholm can do either on the top pair, on the in the middle pair. I'm really wondering who's going to get scratched when he comes in. I can see it being either Riley or Forbert. Both of them have been okay for us, but at the same time, both of them could easily be changed out for the other. We don't have another decent left shot defenseman, and we just traded one, and even though he was on IR, but I really hope that the Bruins put Hampus Lindholm in on Thursday against Tampa, and I hope it ends up being great. But that is it for tonight's episode of Into the Den. Thank you all so much for watching. Click like if you like, click subscribe if you really like. Down below is still my TikTok and the GoFundMe page for Jake Tebow's recovery, and make sure that your friends know that that it doesn't need to be this hard. Sometimes you gotta work smarter, not harder.